This is Lady Myya. Hello, you guys. Another podcast. Yes, we are here. Okay, so I just want to say that I am in the presence of greatness, okay? Miss Trevis Michelle. Okay, Sister Sledge, she used to be an RN, okay, 20 years. And she said, the 20 years, we are trauma, certain situations going on there. But I will say that this woman, she's done more in life than a whole slew of people in one room. I'm telling you, she is the real deal. She is also an author, and she has this book, and it's just an amazing thing. Just, man, if you talk to her, you're going to get some things. You're going to really understand what's going on, especially with what she has to say. And I think it's an absolute gem opposed to what she has to say to anyone. Like, really. Please welcome Miss Trevis Michelle.
Thank you so much. I am so humble. Thank you. I was like, wow, what's she talking about now?
She talked about somebody. It's not me. No, it's her. It's her. Listen, please tell my Mayan tribe, what's the name of the book?
The name of the book is Saving Lives While Fighting for Mine. And it's many stories together to encourage women and to empower women. And we talk about our journeys. And sometimes you don't realize what you're going through because you're going through it. And then when you get through it, like, I did that. And then you don't realize how you have impacted other people because you have decided to win and not be a part of everybody else saying, no, you can't do it.
Ain't that something though? I look at it like, we can do anything we really put our minds to. We're usually the ones talking ourselves out of it. So, there's that thing. Certainly. So, you know what? With you being in the book or writing the book and different things like that, like, give us what was happening before we even got the notion to even go about this process.
Yeah, that's really interesting because can I tell you, this was not even a twinkle in my eye to write a book this year. I was recovering from surgery. Being an RN, you're on your feet a lot, being in the ER all these years. And I guess my feet was like, you know what? We tied. So I ended up having 3 surgeries on my feet in 2 years and walking with a boot for a year. So I had the final surgery in January. And I was like, okay, so I'm going to have to go through therapy. And, I knew all of that. And then I got sick as a dog and didn't realize I had COVID because it was February. Nobody knew. My doctor just knew I was so sick. Then after I recovered, everybody else started getting sick, not around me because I wasn't around anyone, but just out in the world. And I'm like, well, what am I going to do now? How am I going to recuperate? I'm home by myself. And I was approached to be a part of an anthology. And I was like, well, first of all, what is that? Because I have not heard that before. Right. And I was like, me? Are you sure? Someone bumped you on the head because we weren't, tight friends or anything. And for someone to reach out and they said, you have value and we need you to share this testimony. So I was like, okay, I guess I'll be writing about the divorce. And that's what they wanted me to write on because I came through it with my sanity. I came through it with smiling. I'm not bitter. I have forgiven myself first and then forgiven my ex-husband. And I'm also one of his healthcare proxies. And they're like, if somebody can accomplish all of that and he's at all family functions, we need to hear how you did it. So
Mm-hmm.
I went on that journey, but it was really tough because I was going through a major breakup.
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't go to physical therapy. I had gained weight from the steroids and stuff. And I'm a very transparent person. So some people go on and try to act like everything was all hunky dory and perfect. I don't do
Mm-hmm.
that because you need to know I was struggling. In fact, I wasn't even struggling. I was struggling. And I didn't know how I was going to do it.
Oh.
I wasn't even feeling good about myself. And then when you start writing, it triggers things. And it's like, well, who's going to listen to me? And you start having those little self-doubt conversations. And fortunately, because I do believe in the Lord, he was like, didn't I explain to you that if you put your mind to it and you told me what you wanted, that I will be here for you? And that's what I had to draw back on, that strength, because I am not just a survivor, I am a thriver.
Yes.
So that's when I just started writing through writer's block. I have a really, really good supportive team around me, not just my 3 children. I had to name them, Sasha, Kale, and Khalid, but also sister friends who, no matter what, they have my corner, they're in my corner. They will snatch my edges up when I need them snatched, tell me about myself and go, and I go cry in my little corner and I come back out. But we really support each other. And they kept telling me, you can do this. And you have always been doing this.
Yes.
But being a registered nurse, being a Black woman, we're taught what? I'm going to take care of you. I'm going to make you shine. I'm going to put you up on a pedestal. I'm going to laud you. I'm going to take care of, you're going to take care of everyone else, but we leave ourselves in the background, or please go behind the curtain. We don't see you. Just help us and push somebody else out in the light. So then when it's time for me to shine, it's difficult. It's uncomfortable. People think, oh, wow, #1 international best-selling author. Yes. And I'm like, yeah, I'm just getting to the point that I have to repeat that over and over again so that it rolls off my tongue comfortably, because it's like, but still I need to be in the background. And now God is like, no, this is your turn. You've been through a lot. You need to teach other Black women that they don't have to be bitter because they've gone through a divorce. They're more than their divorce. They can survive it. They can still rise above it because there's so much more to have, to aspire to. And it's time for us to level up.
Talk about it. Talk about it. I think that is so amazing because, like, your journey, because y'all, we was talking, you know how I do. I be running my mouth. And so I'm sitting up there like, I know this chick. I know her. I know her from somewhere, but I don't know if her aura or her spirit actually resonated with mine. And that's probably what, seemed so familiar to me. And I just thought it was so amazing because I'm like, man, like when she's talking, you guys, okay, first off, you don't have to say how old you are. But all I want to say is she is absolutely gorgeous. Like, it's not even for her age, just gorgeous, period. Like, I'm like, to see her and know what she not everything that she went through, of course, we didn't get that deep. We didn't have that kind of time. But just to see that she could, like she said, she still got a smile on her face. She's still doing it. She's still trying to make moves and different things like that. And I think that is such an excellent example of where we need to be. A lot of people are just kind of holding on to some things. And it's just like, but for why though? Like, what are you holding on? Or what are you getting out of it? Like, that doesn't even make any sense. And then it's like, the reason why I do this, I do this so, if you don't like your current situation, you can change it. It's nothing to change it. I'm like, we have so many more opportunities now to change it than ever.
Absolutely.
So this is the time for reset. This is a reset time. This is a time to really get into your headspace. Let's clean out some of those cobwebs. Let's redo something. Let's move some chairs out the way. Let's get new chairs. Hey. Because, sometimes when you stay with the same thing and you just keep waking up to the same thing, you just be like, all right, well, it's the same day, just a different day. And we don't need to do that. But she did something. She didn't want to. I'm just saying that story. She didn't want to, but she still made it that she did it, and it was an opportunity. And now she has nothing but opportunities just knocking at her door.
Yeah.
And this is what she's doing. Girlfriend is big in India now, sister is too. But I'm just saying, we are there and we are getting bigger, and because like she said, we've been polishing everybody else off. Now let's polish her off. Let's just make sure she is going the distance. Let's give her all the love, give her all the support that she needs, because this is what we do. Okay. All right. So anywho, I said too much. Anywho.
I always say when it's right and like-minded Black strong women are in a room together, you're going to get the same message.
Yes.
It's in different words. It's the same message. And so that's our foundation. And that's when we can rise, and still I rise, like Maya Angelou says, because we are phenomenal women, like Maya Angelou says.
Yes. We are. And I think, a lot of times, we don't get the credit. We have to demand it, because I demand it every time. Like, first off, no, we're not doing that. Because I know what my value is. And you have to know what yours is. And once you do, there's nothing you can't do. Look at her. Look at her. Come on now. Like, really, I look at it like this. You have been trained to be so intentional about the job.
All right.
Why can't we be intentional about the life?
Oh, that's deep. I love that.
But it is something that, we fail to realize on an everyday basis. We go to the job, they tell you exactly what to do. This is what you need to do. This is how it should look afterwards, and boom. Why are we not giving ourselves the credit that we already know what to do, because it was already instilled in us? A lot of people are saying now, like, I can't, I'm just going to wait on the Lord, and the Lord is going to give it to me.
But faith without work is what?
Dead.
Okay.
But I think you have the makings of the next Oprah. I think you have the makings of the next Michelle Obama. I think you have the makings of all the greats that came before us. Thank God that they paved the way. It got a little dusty. It's okay. We just got to clean it off, get the snow blower, whatever we got to do.
Right.
We just got to find the path. That's all it is.
Girl, I'm over here trying to keep from tearing up, because I don't want my eyelashes to come off. But all right. Look, but to just think of me in that way, I deserve it. I'm not going to sit here and be so humbled that, oh no, yes I am, because the testimony, what I've had to go through, and to still be standing, I deserve it. And that's how other women, especially Black women, that's how we have to stand. That's how we have to perceive ourselves. That's how we have to manifest what we want. We put other people on such a high pedestal, and then it's like, oh, we're looking up at them like we can't accomplish it, instead of saying, okay, you paved the way. Number one person besides God is my grandmother, Alice Presley. That's my Oprah. That's my Michelle Obama. That's my Diana Ross, Diane Carroll, or Josephine Baker, Fannie Lou Hamer, because she instilled in me that there's nothing I can't do without God.
Yes.
And you have to treat people the way you want to be treated. So I try to do that. Now, I'm not perfect. I'm not sitting over here trying to act like everything is perfect, because don't come for me or my kids, because then you get me shit. When we stand, we have to make sure we're standing on solid ground. And even though we may have gone through some traumas, let's put it out there, because we always post stuff. COVID has taken what we see now, that folk who we thought weren't gray haired, they're gray haired. People we thought had all that good skin don't have the good skin. We see that if they don't have a personal trainer living in their house, they gain a few pounds. We get to see what people are really like. And I think if you spend time getting to know yourself, then you can grow and stop worrying about what everybody else is saying. Because I will tell you, as an RN, people say, well, everybody has a butthole. They don't. Some people are born without one. But everyone, I can guarantee you, who is born will die.
Mm-hmm.
What you do between your birth and your death is up to you.
Yes. Okay, so we'll get you on my other show.
Okay.
Yes. Okay. So I'm telling you, this is such an amazing person. Like, I mean, hey, you guys, she's going to be a public speaker, and she'll be taking the request via email.
Yeah.
And what's that email, dear heart?
info@trevismichelle.com, and it's TrevisMichelle.
Yes. See, I told you. And so she'll take all that, and her publicist right here, Lady Myya. We're gonna figure out how these things work and what her availability is, because we're not playing those games. Time is money. Money is time. Yes. And I think she's so phenomenal. You guys have to understand, like, what she's saying. Like, her heart, man, it's huge. I think it's bigger than her body. That's funny.
I'm cycling it away. Telling me what I'm saying, being sick and being put on steroids. And everyone knows steroids will throw on 20 pounds in a heartbeat. And I was on it off and on for a whole year.
Mm-hmm.
And trying to get that weight off.
Yeah.
Oh, it was tough. But I was able to do it because I decided that I was sick and tired of being sick and tired of hurting and having that weight on. And what was I going to do about it? And I'm not going to buy new clothing. And it doesn't matter that I can't get to physical therapy. Then I have to be my own physical therapist.
Mm-hmm.
And so I had to put the work in. And I started out a quarter of a mile walking because, I had foot surgery, come home crying, put my foot up, ice it down, got back out the next day until I was able to walk 4 to 5 miles. And then who knew, one day I got on the train to go to work. And I was like, these people in New York City too close to me. And I'm not going to argue with you, fight with you, and tell you to put the mask over your nose and mouth.
Mm-hmm.
I have to cycle. I'm going to have to ride a bike. I don't know why God put that in my mind, because I was talking crap, okay? But I told my children, and they were like, okay, Mom. They never told me that I could not do it.
Mm-hmm.
They said, okay. Now, later they told me they didn't believe it, but they never discouraged me. So that's why I say it's so important, the circle that you have around you, because they don't discourage you. Even in their mind, if they're saying, oh, I don't know if you can do that, but they're not telling you that. They're saying, okay, let's see. And so you're thinking, wow, they're supporting me. I went and got a bike, and it's 7 to 7.5 miles one way to my job. I work my 10 to 11 hours as an RN, and then I get on my bike and I ride back. Now, the first time I did it, it took me 90 minutes. I got lost. Things look different, when you're riding a bike. Yeah. So I was like, okay, 90 minutes for me to get to work, but I was determined. I can tell you 3 days later, it took me 45. And that's how long it takes me to cycle back and forth. And I do it twice a day. Have to lose weight. There's nothing else you can do. Mm-hmm. And I continue through, it's 42 degrees out, I'm riding. So I wanted to challenge myself. I'm like, I can do 100 miles. And I'm sharing this story with you because I need people to know that you stop yourself. It's really not other people. Okay, they can tell you you're too thin, you're too ugly, you're too fat, you're not smart enough, you're not rich enough. They can say a whole lot of things, but you don't have to believe it. And I chose not to believe that I couldn't do it, because I love being very girly girl. I'm not trying to sweat. Only 2 times you should sweat, and one is childbirth, and y'all can figure out the other one. I ain't out for all that. My eyelashes can't be flying off and stuff, but I do it every day. I have to go to work, and it feels so freeing because I said, I'm going to ride 100 miles this week. Now, and then I was like, every morning, you are stupid. You can ride 100 miles. My body was like, no, you're not. But I rode over 150 miles that week. And I just kept pushing. And now other people are saying they're going to cycle. And I went from a cast on my foot to riding 150 miles in a week. And if that isn't some type of motivation and encouragement for someone, I don't know what else to tell you. But you have to really, you have to believe in yourself.
Yeah.
And writing about divorce, that is tough. I was like, now, why am I going to write about divorce? Who's going to listen to me? And how relevant is it? They're always teaching you now, right, on Instagram and everything. You have to find your niche. It has to be relevant. Make sure your content, la, 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 la. And I was like, but there are so many people that don't talk about divorce. And right now with COVID, folks realizing when you go to work, you don't have to spend that much time with them. So by the time you come home, cook dinner, go to bed, wake up, do it again, except on the weekends, right? So you got really a weekend husband. Now you guys were stuck in the house for months. You got to realize when you pass gas, it really is disgusting. And, you know what I'm saying? And I'm making light of it, but you're finding out things that just you did not take the time to know that person. Now you are, and you're finding some instances it's not safe, that you have more domestic violence. So I'm not encouraging divorce because I do believe wholeheartedly in marriage. But when you get to that point that you need to have go through a divorce and you've acknowledged it and this is the course, then this is checkers. It ain't chess. I mean, this is chess. Whoops. It ain't checkers, because if you don't strategize, you will get hurt. That's why we end up as Black women, especially, so angry.
Yes.
We're not the same that people who don't look like us. My girlfriend, she was white, and she's like, girl, I have an attorney, because we happen to be going through the same thing. She says, well, I have an attorney. I want you to talk to him. I already told him about you. Well, when I walked up in there, I'm all excited, like, oh gosh, I'll have some help. First thing out of his mouth was, how much money do you have? And that's not the conversation he had with her. And when you speak to an attorney, they want to sit up and talk so much, not all of them, but a lot. You ask a question, they're going to tell how great they are, but they're not telling you the steps that you need to do. They don't tell you need to start gathering your information, like your passport, even if you don't move it because you don't want him to know yet, but at least get your numbers for your life insurance, for the home insurance, who's paying the insurance, who's paying the car note, how much is it for, a budget for you to live. You should gather all this information. No one's telling you that. Finding it out. Because as soon as you say, I want a divorce, people change on you like a light switch.
Yes.
So I teach women, what they need to do and the resources and how to vet an attorney.
No, I hear you. You know what? I think, we've all, honey, child, I could tell you some stories, but, I'm not going to, because I'm definitely trying to highlight you. Definitely. So I'm going to say this, you guys. Y'all might want to kind of stay tuned, because I'm going to have her back. If I got to harass her, I just got to do what I got to do, because you know how I do. Don't blame me. I'm going to find you when we're going to talk. But I definitely want to have her back, because I definitely want her to be able to really give you a full understanding of the situation with her divorce and different things like that. And it's a talk. It's a real talk that, like she said, it's not really as talked about. And not everybody should be talking about it, because, we understand it's not comfortable. It's not comfortable. Okay, talk about it, because, Sister Sledge has done a few times. So we gonna dial that back. But definitely, I do want to have the conversation with her, and hopefully that everything will go accordingly. Um, so I want you guys to understand. Listen, I'm on Patreon now. Help a sister out. That's going to be number one. And number two, I do this because I want you guys to be happy. I want everybody to have a life that they always dreamed of having, because it's all possible. You just got to want it. And if you don't work for it, well, I mean, you're just going to make it harder to kind of want. You can want till you blue in the face, and, but if you don't work for it, it's just nothing nobody else can do for you, because it's your life. So definitely I want to continue this conversation. You guys, love you so much. If you want to get a hold of her, she gave you her information. And if you want to be on the podcast here, you can always reach me at one Lady Myya, MYYA@gmail.com. And you know why? Because your homegirl is special. I'm going to have to talk to you guys later.